Good afternoon, and what is a cool, bright and sunny day. It is Monday the 27th of March. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And big parcel, or thick parcel, to continue unboxing. So what I have pulled out from this package, if I get it open previously, is this sheaf of issues of White Dwarf, early issues of White Dwarf, beginning with issue 13, and I've looked at 14, 16, and I've got 17 to look at, which promises to contain the Sable Rose Affair, Magic Brush, Artifacts and Relics, and this was published in February, March 1980, when it cost just 60 pence. So, inside, this runs to just 31 pages. So, inside we have a couple of adverts, of course. So, Model Workshop in Guildford, Surrey, then an advert for Judges Guild content, you know, and saying, you know, it's available via Games Workshop. The standard as Deviant advert, which appeared in issues of White Dwarf and Imagine for many years, followed by, again, more products available for Games Workshop, this time from Eon, the Darkover board game from Marion Zimmer Bradley, well, based on her books, and then Cosmic Encounter, the classic board game of alien interaction and conflict. Advert for Citadel Miniatures, this time for the Star Trek line, which would have been at the time of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. So you could buy miniatures for your for Star Trek gaming, and this is despite the fact that at the time, well, the only Star Trek role-playing game would have been the one from Heritage Models, and possibly not even, and I don't even know whether it would have been actually available in 1980. Anyway, so we have standard introduction, well, editorial from Ian Livingstone and the contents page before we get into the first of the departments, which is Fiend Folio, curated by the late Don Turnbull, and of course the origins of a lot of the monsters in the Fiend Folio. And see if we've got any notable names here. Nobody particularly stands out, but there are some nice creatures, and some of these are illustrated by Russ Nicholson. That image, I think the Knight Rider is kind of one, I think it's been used again over and over. I think it's appeared elsewhere. And then Open Box. So we've got reviews of the board game Time War from Yakinto. Yakinto Publishing is best known for its board games. Did publish 3 role-playing games back in the day, but its board games were well respected. A lot of good big war games. And then we have these are all reviews by Don Turnbull. Again, we've got 4 reviews, all of Judges Guild scenarios, one of which are listed under Judges Guild playing aids, which they're not, and then you've got the actual listing of the scenarios. So what we've got here is Under the Storm Giant's Castle, Dark Tower, absolute classic, would have cost you £3.95 in the day, but in 1980, which would have been, you know, quite a lot of money back then. These days, not so much. And then Caverns of Thracia and Operation Ogre. Caverns of Thracia and Dark Tower are rightly regarded as classics. Consequently, you can see that here with the marks awarded to them. So Dark Tower 9 out of 10, Caverns of Thracia 8 out of 10. Absolutely well deserved. Then we have some My Life as a Werebear D&D Masterclasses by Lou Pulsifer. This is a collection of different classes for Dungeons and Dragons, of course. Numerous types of essentially turning monsters into classes that your players could take. So we have the Lamassu and the Werebear, Blink Dogs, and Stone Giants. I would absolutely like to see a game where a scenario where the players all take these character classes, because that would be ludicrous. Yeah. So Lamassus go up to 9 levels, Werebears to 8, Blink Dogs to 4, Stone Giants to 10. Honestly, that's going to be a really weird game where you're playing monsters like this. But it's been done. I mean, obviously, monsters from Flying Buffalo, essentially which turned Tunnels and Trolls, sort of like inverted that, so you're playing the monsters rather than the adventurers. Have already done that. And then we have the Magic Brush, which was a feature on how to paint miniatures. Now, as I keep saying, we come back to this. This is a time when miniatures are still very popular because they're connected to the wargaming aspect of the hobby, and it's expected so that when you come to roleplay, you'll have miniatures and put them down on the table, and when you play out your battles, and that's almost expected. So an article like this was always welcome at the time. And then Bob McWilliams offers, I think probably his most famous contribution to White Dwarf, which is the Sable Rose Affair, a big traveller scenario. Essentially, the player characters are have to investigate some disappearances of ships, and this leads them to the Sable Rose. To the bar there and discover who's responsible, and you've got a lot of background and detail upon the location, and that's absolutely fantastic map of the bar, and you could take that and drop that down into any modern setting, or science fiction setting, and nobody, you would be none the wiser knowing that this came from a traveller scenario. Work with Judge Dredd, James Bond, you name it. So yeah, I think you could take this, use the current version of Traveller Rules from Mongoose Publishing. Away you go. Letters page, including letters from film masters. And then Treasure Chest, which is a section of artifacts and relics, just various things that you could drop into your game. Like the skeleton of Ezekiel, an ancient monk who devoted his entire life to the development of the body towards perfection, and essentially Ezekiel's bones can still be found because of the magic used in developing his body, still have powers when ground into powder and ingested. So you've got different powers for the different bones you ingest. So thigh bones, when ingested, user moves twice normal speed as if hasted. Both thigh bones are still believed to exist. So yes, strange one-shot items there. We have a list of the news section. Always not particularly, I keep saying not particularly long. There's not a great deal of news. It's not like today, where the internet, where the news flies around all over the place. Questionnaire results. We have a previous issue where a questionnaire on you know, at what people thought of the magazines, what they were playing, and so on. And then we have White Dwarf interviews. Never very many interviews in issues of White Dwarf, but the editor was at. So this is what February, March. So at Gen Con previous year, 1979, interview with Greg Stafford. And then, so that's a couple of pages long. We've got details of a new stat for your role-playing games, Perception. Of course, we've done Dungeons and Dragons. So after this, we have classified sections and a help section and a list of games clubs. So, you know, games clubs in Stourbridge, in the West Midlands, Dunstable, Liverpool, Pinner in London, to City University in London, and Sussex. Then we have advert for Nuclear War, the play-by-mail game run by Flying Buffalo via Chris Harvey Games. Over the page we've got another advert from Flying Buffalo, this time for Starweb. Flying Buffalo is notable for sort of like really popularising the play-by-mail game during this period. There would be another big phase of it later in the mid-80s with the UK company. For other people based in Bristol, Leicester Games, a fantasy shop, and then Cart Games Unlimited, Mortal Kombat. So basically just different shops up and down the country. We have Star Force 300, with a publisher of items for your science fiction gaming and wargaming. Little smaller advert from Games of Liverpool, and then High Fantasy Adventures for New Fantasy Games, based in Indianapolis. I don't think anybody ever heard anything from them again. General advert for Games Workshop. And then on the back, of course, you've got the almost obligatory advert for Gamma World from TSR. Essentially, sex sells, Gamma World, despite this never happening in the game. Nevertheless, it's not the worst or most cringeworthy advert for Gamma World. Anyway, so that's White Dwarf issue number 17, published in February, March 1980. Some interesting things in there. That'll be an interesting read at some point. Perhaps I might even review it, but you never know. Anyway, thanks for watching another unboxing of the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game, or in this case some magazines, which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.